What is up, YouTube? PPS back here with my guy Monotone back for Pass the Prop. This time it is actually all sports. We're going on two separate sports today. How you doing, Monotone? How have the bets been going? You've been cashing?
Yeah, man, it's been pretty good. I started my MLB season 2-1, and that's currently where I'm paused at because I've been kind of stepping back just while we have these play-in games going and focused in on pretty much all the NBA playoffs. So yeah, NBA playoffs this year. I'm super excited. Today's games are a little bit less exciting than yesterday. No Kevin Durant, no Kyrie Irving, Paul George on the slate. But I do think there are some very profitable opportunities. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about both MLB and NBA today.
Yeah, man. It's I've looked at a couple of the games. Honestly, I really haven't dove into much MLB or NBA. But no, I did watch I thought the Cavs were going to come all the way back last night. That was a little comeback action. I was not expecting to see that, especially with them being as hurt as they are. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with how the Cavs performed in that second half, even without Jarrett Allen. That's such a big injury.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about the other bigger injuries, right, with the more superstar guys, but Jarrett Allen missing in the middle of that defense is pretty important, especially when you're going up against like Drummond and Mr. Claxton. It definitely makes it a little bit harder.
100%.
All right, I'm just taking a look around here, checking around the baseball scores. Evaldi is now probably coming out, and I'm going to get hooked on my 5.5 strikeouts. That is great. Love to see that to start the day, but did cash in on the Dodgers pretty early. Thank God we took them the way we did because they just haven't hit since. I guess you don't really have to when you're getting a no-no or whatever it is with them. Knock on wood.
I think they pulled them actually, so you can say the word if you want.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy, by the way. If I'm a pitcher, I'm at 80 pitches. I know it's Kershaw. I know he's an older guy, but man, a perfect game, 80 pitches, you're going to have to drag me out of the fucking game, man. That's incredible.
Yeah, we're seeing some crazy stuff happening. Washington's winning. Josiah Gray looked fantastic after his absolute, I don't know what to say about his first outing of the day or of the year where he gave up like 4 runs, but yeah, we'll take a look. Jay's in the chat already. He's always number 1 in there. If you guys do have questions, that's where to ask them. We're only here on YouTube, so it's a little bit easier, obviously, to stream and obviously to get questions in and out to us. So without further ado, I'll let you start us off. I know we got some good feedback on us doing it the way we have been on the shorter, quicker one. So let's do that. Oh, my God, Evaldi did it. He did it.
You got another K?
101 pitches.
Love it.
God. Oh, my God, dude. 101 pitches, and he K's the side. Dude, he went into this half inning with 3, and I needed 6, and he just got 3. Oh,
love it. Good vibes.
In between giving up an absolute nuke, but it's all right. We'll take it. Man, that was hype. Holy shit. He's at 101 pitches through 5. So we got a little sweep on YouTube earlier, so let's go. Now I'm hyped. Let's do it. Let's get started.
Yep, sounds good. All right. Yeah, great vibes to start the show out with the hit right there. Where I'm going with in the NBA, we're going to the Pelicans-Spurs game right here, and I'm going with Herbert Jones to have 1 3 and 1 steal. This is minus 115 on MGM and DraftKings Sportsbooks. I love Herb Jones. I think he's a great player, obviously only a rookie. I mean, there are not too many rookies you're going to see that are going to get 35, 38 minutes in a playoff game, to be honest. But if we noticed one thing at all in yesterday's play-in games is that these coaches are going to be doing the absolute best they can to limit the star players. What we saw Kessler Edwards yesterday in that Nets game get 4 wide open threes. We saw Bruce Brown take around 5 or 6 threes. We saw Jaden McDaniels take about 4 threes. We saw Nicholas Batum take about 4 threes. A lot of these role players that don't traditionally see high volume are going to be getting legitimately wide open, empty gym type of 3-point shots. Because, right, you got a guy like LaMelo Ball on one side. That's the other game, sorry. There's a lot of games going on. You got a guy like Brandon Ingram. You got a guy like CJ McCollum. You got Jonas Valanciunas. All these guys that you need to spend so much attention on the defensive side of the ball. It's really easy for a guy like Herbert Jones to kind of slip under the cracks, right? When you're scheming against this team, Herbert Jones is probably the last guy you're thinking about scoring on you. So Absolutely love him to get at least 4 or 5 threes. He's hit this in both games. He played 30 minutes against them earlier this year. In one game, he played 25 minutes and he took 5 threes. He didn't make any of them. But I'm obviously, like I said before, expecting 33, 35 minutes at the minimum just because of what he provides on the defensive end. So that's why I went with the steal. I was thinking, what do I play this with? It was sitting there right in front of me. It was pretty obvious. The guy's averaging 1.8 steals per game, which is pretty insane in his rookie season. And he hit this in every single game against the Spurs earlier this year. We know the Spurs are going to want to play fast, but if the Pelicans are going to slow him down and make him play that half-court offense, then we could see them turn over the ball a lot more. So I really love this Herbert Jones play. I think he's going under the radar a lot today.
I love it. That's definitely a good look. Seeing that information from the first games yesterday, what we're probably looking at here. We got some guys in the chat talking about fucking Evaldi. I love it. Happy that everybody got in there and that. But yeah, I've been trying to throw in Herb Jones as much as I could through the year and in my DraftKings FanDuel stuff, just because the dude fills up the stat sheet, and most of the times it's on stocks. Even gets his blocks quite often too. So just one of those guys that helps you in every single category. And I think you're spot on with that 3-point shot too. So I love it. I'll be doing my first one will be my plus money play today, and I'm going right back to the well. I went to him last night. I got hooked on all 3 of my player props last night I gave out. So we needed one like that, Evaldi stuff. And Bregman was one of the guys that I got hooked on. He got walked and then had a single. So obviously the walks don't count for total bases, so that was unfortunate. But we have a fantastic matchup today. This game starts in about 30 minutes, guys, so make sure you lock it in. We're going up against Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly is absolute dog. He is absolutely terrible against right-handed bats. Gives up 296 batting average against, a 491 slugging to right-handed bats. And Alex Bregman has been one of the hottest hitters out to start out the season here, having multiple hits and an RBI in every single game except for 2 already. And obviously last night he got a single too there. I don't think he's had a hitless game, knock on wood. But he's just seeing the ball extremely well. Merrill Kelly's not going to have the stuff to really overpower you. He's a mid-90s fastball, over-the-top curveball. Pretty obvious to kind of pick up. You can definitely see that he used to be a little bit more velo reliant. Now you can't really do that. He's not really that well at locating the fastball either. And I like looking at his last year's numbers when he started out the season. Last year in his first month of starting, he had 27 innings pitched, a 6.3 ERA, and a 3.05 batting average against. That was last year in his first month. I love looking at those numbers as seeing how guys start out. A lot of guys have the same type of kind of look to them at the beginning of the year. Sometimes a lot of guys start slow, always. A lot of guys start out fast, always. It's just kind of the way it happens coming out of spring training. And I'm going to attack Merrill Kelly here. I think this Astros team is way too tough for him, and I'm going to rely on Bregman in the middle of this order against a guy with reverse splits. I'll take the best righty in this order against Merrill Kelly and his terrible reverse splits against the right-handed bats.
Yeah, and I love getting this at plus 120 too, right? That's obviously always really nice. I remember Kelly was a guy I remember seeing people target all the time in the past. So it's definitely good to hear that. I'm on board with you here, man. Like you said before, I think you've made a really good case, and I love the plus 120. So I'll definitely be telling you on this one.
Perfect. Love it. And we'll get to some plus money. We'll get to yours, this crazy plus money spot here for you.
Yeah, so it's interesting. DeJounte Murray triple-double at plus 450. What I also did, I also played him his double-double at minus 150, just because when you look at DeJounte Murray throughout a majority of the season, the guy, his double-double was minus 250. So the fact that I saw it at minus 150 on DraftKings, and then I looked over at FanDuel and it was minus 210, I automatically put it in, right? You're getting extreme line value for a guy that does it all the time. But when you look at triple doubles in the league, guess who has the most triple doubles in the NBA? It's Jokic. We all know that. DeJounte Murray is number 2. I mean, if this was a guy like Russell Westbrook, right? If you just switch the names, right? You switch the name from Russell Westbrook to DeJounte Murray. What would this be, like plus 250? The guy, a great stat that someone in my Discord, Action Network, Joe Delera, shout out to him. I was talking to him about this yesterday. I went on his podcast yesterday. It's great. He's played 38 minutes in only 13 games this season, and he has a triple-double in 6 of them. That is a crazy, crazy, crazy hit rate. And guess what? One of those games where he got those minutes was who they're playing today. It was the Pelicans. So people are a little bit concerned, which I think it's fair, that the Pelicans are going to try to slow this game down. I agree. I do think they're going to try to do that. But we got to remember, the Spurs are one of the most up-tempo teams in the league. And if Murray's going to be seeing 40 minutes, this is a guy that, like I said, is second in the league in triple doubles already. I think we're getting a great price here. So absolutely loves triple double. I also played his double double. He's only behind really Trae Young, I believe, Luka Doncic, and James Harden in terms of guards with double doubles alone. And second in the league in triple doubles. Like Jay said, he is the RA king. We're not asking for an outlier performance. Normally, when you bet a triple double, you're asking for an outlier performance. He averages over 8 rebounds and 9 assists per game. We're only asking him to do 1 or 2 better than his average on the season. So absolutely love this spot. I think Murray has a great game filling up the stat sheet today.
Beautiful. You know, you don't have to sell me too much on DeJounte Murray. He's one of my guys, so I'll be dropping it too. I'll be playing with you. Anytime I can get DeJounte Murray bets, I always love to do that. So I will be going to my last one. It's a pitching prop. I am actually fading my hometown team here tonight. John Means over 16.5 outs. This is DraftKings. I found this on. John Means is one of those guys that ever since his no-hitter, no one really talks about him much. He just goes out, does his thing, gets the job done, and that's about it. Playing in Baltimore, you don't really get that much exposure, which is unfortunate because this guy is very, very good. Obviously, his first outing this year wasn't great against Tampa Bay, but still only limited them to 1 run, got through 4 innings. Unfortunately for him, 6 hits were given up. And obviously walking guys. He had 1 walk in there, which he usually never does. One of the most accurate pitchers in terms of strikes in the MLB. Left side of the mound here. I love going to that against the Brewers. They struggle against left-handed pitchers, especially these slower guys. You saw him against Kyle Hendricks, a guy who's going to focus on the changeup. Same thing with John Means. That's what John Means focuses on every single time he goes out, is locating that changeup, working down in the zone, and just getting ground balls. That's why I didn't want to attack the strikeouts. I think the strikeouts will come. The Brewers find a way to strike out against every single guy. 7 Ks against Kyle Hendricks. He just got lit up by the Pirates today. Just a terrible look for the Brewers. They're just not hitting well right now. The most runs they've scored so far this year is 5 against the lowly Baltimore Orioles and the Cubs. So just not seeing the ball well overall as a team. The guys that I do like would be Renfroe and McCutchen, the 2 new guys. But if you look at the guys that are there, Wong doesn't hit as well against lefties. Yelich doesn't hit well against lefties. Even when you go down further in the order, Narvaez hits much better from the left side. And us getting rid of Manny Pena last year takes away a right-handed contact bat that would obviously probably help in this situation. I think going at the outs is the best way to go at this one, just because I don't have to cross my fingers like I just did with Evaldi trying to get these 3 Ks or trying to go out and have perfect things happen. I just need him to get outs. He's a ground ball guy. Obviously, the dimensions of Camden Yards got moved back. That's absolutely huge news for a guy like this who's a contact pitcher. And I won't be surprised to see his strikeouts go through the roof here against the Brewers in this one. I think 16.5 outs is fairly low. And I like really looking at how he attacks guys the same way Kyle Hendricks does from the opposite side. They just cannot wait on the changeup. And John Means has one of the best left-handed changeup in the MLB. And he doesn't have a huge whiff percentage, never really that type of guy. Last year, his top pitch was, in the terms of whiff, was his slider at 31%. A lot of these top-end guys are going to see around that 40, 50% on one of their pitches. John Means is going to find a way to get outs, and I don't think the Brewers are really going to have too much success here against John Means tonight.
Yeah, man, not the start, obviously, we were looking for with your Brew Crew over there. But as we know, kind of baseball is kind of like a game of runs, right? You kind of maybe start out at your higher level of expected outcomes, or you start out at your lower level of expected outcomes. And the Brewers are pretty much at the bottom right now. So obviously when these teams are kind of slumping like that, you want to do your best to take advantage of it. I believe, just like I'm sure you do, that the Brewers obviously have enough talent that they're going to figure it out at some point. It's not going to be like this all year long. But while we have a good opportunity to do that, we got to take advantage. Additionally, like you said, love taking advantage of these small market guys that really get no media attention, right? Like who cares about the Orioles? Like, I don't know, Masson might be like the worst, kind of coverage broadcast media in the entire league. I know as a Nationals fan. So no one's ever really talking about a lot of these guys. So that's exactly what we like to do, take advantage of it.
Yeah, and one other thing too here is you're getting the number one for the crew, right? You're getting the NL Cy Young Award winner going up against you. Always like a spot like that where I have my best against the best. You want to show out, obviously, want to show that you're the number one for this team, right? So also like that aspect too. It's one spot that I always usually like to go to and going against the top guys there. Looking for questions. We don't have too many in here today. One from Alan. I'll point towards you. I've been seeing everybody on DeAndre Hunter. Honestly, I'm probably off of him now completely. I think there's way too many people on him. I just think it's a little bit inflated. Do you have any thoughts on this? Or
Yeah, you kind of nailed it a bit. I understand. I actually wrote about Hunter this morning too. I approached him in a little bit of a different way in my Vegas Insider article this morning. So I'm not on just traditionally his points. You can check that out if you'd like to. I do understand why people are on him, right? But everyone in the world is kind of making this assumption that the Hornets are going to blitz the fuck out of Trae Young and that Trae Young's going to have like 40 assists today. And I think that's a good assumption to have. It worked last game, and that's why the Hornets were able to beat them last game. But you got to understand, there's a lot of chess that goes on in these playoff games, right? Trae Young was a really hard guy to bet on last year. If you look at that Knicks series, right, that first one, 14 assists, 30 points, 14 assists, 30 points. He was taking turns. It depended on how the defenses approached him, right? So we're all going on this assumption that this is exactly what's going to happen. If we all know that as the brain trust of Twitter handicapping, I think both coaching staffs are going to be pretty aware of what the other coaching staff is going to try to do. So I think Hunter probably has a pretty good game, but seeing, the whole world come together on this guy, especially when this team has a rotation of wings that are able to score and able to, Herter's going to be there, Bogdanovic's going to be there, Gallinari's going to be there. They've got a lot of guys that are able to score around Trae Young. That's ignoring the fact that Trae Young can drop 40 points any given night against almost any team, especially a team like the Hornets. So I don't dislike Hunter, but it is really interesting to see kind of the whole community come together under the same assumption of exactly what's going to happen in a game. And when that happens, I tend to get a little bit scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, what happens if Bogdanovich hits his first three shots? I mean, that could cut minutes right off of Hunter immediately. Gallinari is a ISO guy. He's never going to pass the ball, but he finds a way to score. It's just there's so many things that need to go right for you to win this one. I get it. I mean, he could easily get 25 points, but it's like he could easily have 28 minutes. It's just like everybody kind of just goes at it like that. And guess what? Those guys are getting paid millions of dollars to be able to stop guys, right? And if I'm going at it, I would probably be a little bit more concerned with DeAndre Hunter than I would be with Gallinari, because Gallinari's just been on that one where he just has that mid-range jump shot, creates his own shot. It's just tough for me to go on it when I've seen everybody on it. It's just kind of the way I am.
Yeah, and Alan pointed out too, right under that, Capella seems to be another popular play. It's because of that same exact assumption, right? It's that same assumption that they're going to blitz the fuck out of Trae Young. Almost every single pick and roll set, and it's going to leave Capella open for those lob dunks. And once again, we saw this happen last year too, but it's really hit or miss. It really depends on how the defense approaches this. But yeah, I do like Capella boards for sure. I mean, the Hornets are like the worst rebounding team in basketball, and they've been that way all year. So I like Capella. I like Hunter. It's hard to get there. There's a lot of good bets today. There's still a lot I feel like I need to even look into today. You know what I mean? You mentioned Bogdanovich. I have something coming out with my odds checker article about him today too. I feel very good about Bogdanovich today. So it'll be interesting.
Jay's talking about Plumlee and PJ. That's the thing too, is PJ Washington, if he's down there and there's no Plumlee in the game, why would Capella be in the paint? He might get played off the court. It's just stuff like that where Charlotte easily could run small ball here and just try to get the biggest post presence out of that game, right? They know they suck in the paint.
Yeah.
at this point in the season, you suck at stuff, right? You know your weaknesses. It's been 82 games, right? So that's why I'm not touching Capella. That's why I'm not touching Washington. That's why I'm not touching Plumlee, because all three of those guys are so – you don't know how the coach's rotation is going to be here. And you could see P.J. Washington have 35 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just like that could easily happen if they just want to take Capella off the court, because I don't think Capella can come anywhere close to guarding P.J. Washington if it comes down to it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I said actually with Joe yesterday when I went on his podcast. I said, I'm not touching Mason Plumlee at all. And I think PJ Washington's evolved as a defender this season. I think there's a good possibility that they do try to run small. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But PJ Washington was someone I was kind of considering. But like you said, it's just too risky. We really don't know what's going to happen down there. So I'm probably just going to leave that whole situation alone. But I do think PJ Washington has some good upside. Like I think a 3+3s at like plus 250 could be an interesting thing to lay down a couple bucks. I think I'll probably end up doing that.
Perfect. Well, I don't see any other questions in here. We'll run through a quick recap. If you guys want to drop a couple in there before we get done with it, we'll go from there. But let's go through our plays for today.
Yep, Herbert Jones to have 1 3 and 1 steal minus 115 on MGM and DraftKings. And then DeJounte Murray triple-double plus 450. I also like the double-double at minus 150 also on DraftKings.
Yep, and I'll be riding with Alex Bregman, total bases over 1.5 plus 120. And John Means over 16.5 outs tonight. Really only need him to go over the 5-inning mark. So let's do it. And I mean, you could do that too, but how many times have you watched PJ Washington foul 3 times in like 2 minutes? Like I've seen it way too many damn times. I don't need to bet everything. I'm going to just stay away from that. I'd rather go with the guys that I know are going to be on the court, that I know are going to have the shots and that have the usage. So I'm just not going to.
Yeah, and also Montrezl Harrell is like a question mark. He didn't even play in the playoffs last year, so who knows what they're going to do there? I think you have a very valid point with the unders, but like I said, it's who knows, right? We're guessing kind of. So
yeah, so sounds good, guys. Appreciate you guys popping in. Quick 20 minutes. Hopefully, you guys, if you're not on here live, you pop on, you can get to see it. Monotone, you got anything else for the people before we head out today on our quick 25 or sub 25 minute pass the prop today?
Yeah, no, nothing much really. Just, follow on Twitter if you're watching this not live and you want to get your questions in. Both of our DMs are absolutely open and we'll be happy, or you can drop them in the comments below while you're there, like the video, all that stuff. Happy to answer any questions.
Yep. And again, have the our Twitter links in the description if you guys have questions on those. Monotone, do you want to answer that last question there, or how do you want to do that? I don't know. We got about a minute left.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can try to go pretty quick. I would just say live betting is one of those things. If you have the time, it can be extremely profitable. With a game as volatile as baseball, if you trust your reads, I wouldn't be hedging that often at all. So much can change from inning to inning. I would just be looking to try to read the momentum as best you can. But I don't live bet baseball that much. So much can happen from inning to inning. It's really hard for me.
I love it. Yep. And nothing else to add on that. Thank you guys so much for popping on. We'll be on. We'll talk about Friday. I'm not sure. I got to be out early, so it'll have to be super early, but we'll see what happens for that. But thank you guys. Hopefully you're tailing, and hopefully we can get some money tonight. 4 plays, lock them all in. Remember, Bregman starts in about 15 minutes, so go lock that in quick. So have a good one, guys. Have a good rest of your week, and best of luck on your best tonight. Peace.